Well, perhaps we could look at something a little different, speak of something a little bit different, as in questions. I've had a few questions posed to me that are rather interesting in the dynamics of how they are asked, and they are from yesterday's or day before yesterday's conversation. Or was it yesterday? The days are running together somewhat. So, at any rate, the first question James asked was, why do you believe in intelligence? If you look at the question, you'll see that the person has crashed dimensions, if you will, crossed over from one dimension to another. That's not necessarily surprising because the dimension from which I speak is not of the normal. The normal dimension is the dimension of knowledge and thought and belief, our history, what happened yesterday. And I speak from creation, intelligence, and truth. So, in the dimension of intelligence, there is no belief. As a matter of fact, if a belief is formed, a belief is an opinion held on to as though it's right, the intelligence then is blocked. They are two different dimensions. So, the answer, why do you believe in intelligence, obviously, is I don't. I don't believe in anything. The belief in anything is the blocking of intelligence. Intelligence, if you will, creation, intelligence, and truth, is an ever-flowing, ever-renewing itself. Much as I have said before, much like a stream, a fresh stream of water that is ever flowing. It's ever new water, and yet it's always water. If you take that stream of water and you dam it up, which is what a belief does to intelligence, then the water itself, just as intelligence does, it turns rancid. It stagnates. There's no longer any life left in it because it circles around on itself. It's ever repeating. That may not be a great analogy, but it points directly to what happens. Intelligence, creation, truth happens in the now, happens in the present. Knowledge and thought and belief is from yesterday. It's from all the things that we've already learned. That's not to say that they aren't important. Obviously, if you're going to drill a well or build a deck or put up a fence, then you have to have the knowledge, the thought process of what to do, how to do it, what size 4x4, 2x4, 4x8, 4x6 for the fence, or what is the load bearing requirement for a deck, depending on the width of the deck. That is where knowledge and thought is needed. And it's pretty much frozen in fact. There's so many inches in a foot, and a 2x4 is so much by so much. It's not 2x4, by the way. It's 1.5 by 3.5. Who knows why they call it a 2x4? Well, it's because it starts off as a 2x4, and then when they plane it down, it ends up at 1.5 by 3.5. So knowledge is a important part of our domain of living. It only becomes a problem when we get stuck in it. And my suggestion here is we have been collectively stuck in knowledge, thought, and belief for thousands of years. I'm just seeing if we can end being stuck in knowledge, thought, and belief. The finest way to do that is to remove our beliefs. That's the weakest point. The weakest point of all of that is belief, because belief is completely unneeded. There's no need at all for a belief. At any rate, the other question was, what is the measure? I'm assuming he means what is the measure of intelligence? And the measure of intelligence is truth. In the world of creation, intelligence, truth, the truth is the important measure. So in that world, you can't have a Santa Claus, can't have a tooth fairy. We can't be lying to our children and saying you get a lump of coal if you're bad, or you get good stuff if you're good from some Santa Claus, or if you lose your tooth, some money from the tooth fairy. Or there's a deity up there that's, if you cuss, it's going to burn you in hell, and if you are good, it's going to send you to heaven. You can't be any of that in intelligence. That nonsense stuff belongs in knowledge and thought and belief. And belief holds that in place. I understand that here in America, 70% of the people are God believers. So if ever you're wondering, get into a situation you wonder what to do, look around and see what most of the people are doing, and don't do that. Don't do what they stay away from that. At any rate, the other question was what metric, and I'm not certain about that particular question, what metric, because that sounds like measure again. But I will say that if you live your life from the dimension of intelligence and from the dimension of creation, which means to bring forth from nothing, and truth, then you won't lie. And if you don't lie, then the ability that you receive, the free gift that you get, is the seeing of when a person is lying, the seeing of when a person is speaking the truth. It's clear. It's clear as a bell. If you know Isabel very well, you'll know. It's clear as a bell. You can just hear it because there is an energy that lives in the truth. And there is a negative energy that is in a lie. So you could say, if you're Christian in origin, that if you speak the truth, you live in heaven, and if you lie, you live in hell. That's a bit of a stretch there to put those two things, but essentially that's true if you use the psychological measurement of heaven and hell. The only place there's a heaven and a hell is psychological measurement. You can't bore down in the ground and find a guy with horns that's burning people up as fast as he can. And you can't fly up there and find some guy walking on gold steps who's waiting for Trump to get there to take his place. Then another question was, are humans the only intelligence? And that's an interesting question, given where we are as it says here, humans. Really, there's no intelligence. There's only knowledge. There's only thought. There's only belief. So as opposed to saying, are humans the only intelligence, I would have to say we're the only ones not intelligent. We live our lives from belief. We make up fairy tales and we live our whole life from the fairy tale. But you ought to see some of the things, the QAnon and the fact that all the Democrats are I don't even know what it's something. All the Democrats are in collusion and having women, the babies all. I don't know. It's so crazy that they got baby prostitutes all over the place and they're killing all. And Donald Trump is trying to save the only guy that's been charged with raping a 13-year-old woman is supposedly the one saving all of the children that the Democrats are. It's too crazy, except when you consider millions of Americans buy into it. The Democrats are selling all of our children into slavery and sexual slavery, and Donald Trump's trying to save us, and they buy that nonsense. Oh. Then it says, are there others? I'm assuming that question has something to do with maybe aliens. I don't know. There is one, if you will, proof that there might be aliens. And that's that there's none here. If you're an alien, you'd be too damn smart to ever come to this planet. You just think, what happens to alien? What is that movie? E.T. Go Home. They see an alien. We see an alien come here. But you cut a boy up or a girl up, or murder him and I'm going to bang it. No, there's no. If they are, they're staying way away until we destroy ourselves. After we destroy ourselves, if we do, then if there are aliens, they'll come here and they'll pick up and see if they can put the planet back to where it needs to be. And then the final question was, are machines capable of intelligence? And obviously that's a huge no. Machines are capable of knowledge. Machines are capable of keeping track of all the thoughts and monitoring our history. And the good news, machines aren't capable of belief. Machines would just laugh. Well, I don't know about laugh at, but machines wouldn't believe either. We are the only entities that I know of in the entire universe so absolutely stupid that we don't know we're stupid. Now, a good question I heard some time back. Who asked that question? Werner Erhard asked a question. Are we so stupid that we don't know we are stupid? And when I heard that question, I said, yes. You see, because the ability to see our stupidness, or how stupid we are, is a function of intelligence. You have to be intelligent to see your own stupidity. And once you see your stupidity, then you can begin fixing it. Much like if you can see, let's say you are a Trump cult member and you realize then sometime that you're mentally ill. You have to be mentally ill to be in a cult, especially this guy that grabs women between the legs and does whatever he wants to do to them, and you're following him. So the ability to see your own stupidity would then begin the action of fixing your stupidness. You would say, oh, here, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Here. And each time you discover your flaw, which is what stupidity is just something you can't see. It's not really a bad thing. The word stupid is not a bad thing. It simply means you don't know. The moment you discover you don't know is when the possibility is created for you to know. So it is a rather positive thing. If somebody suggests that you're stupid, you might say, instead of argue, fight, or what have you, you might ask, well, what is it about me that makes you consider that I'm stupid? I'll be ready for the answer, too. So the ability to listen is also a function of intelligence, because listening, true listening, implies hearing all that is being spoken, the context of it, the whole thing, not having agreement and not having disagreement, simply looking at what's being spoken, and then recognize the truth that's in it and the false that's in it. And it gets even deeper if you speak only the truth in your life. Then you'll be able to see the lie that's in the truth and the truth that's in the lie. Then no longer will you ever be able to be conned. The easiest people on our planet to be conned are liars, thieves, and cheats, because they con, they manipulate. You do everything, you manipulate this to get this, and you manipulate that to get that, and then you're being manipulated to get. So if you don't con people, if you don't lie, you are, well, I'll use the word insulated just to show you the truth of it. It means to say you can't be conned. The only people who can be conned are cons. The greater the con person, the greater they can be conned. Look at our government. Look at all the people Donald Trump has conned. He's the biggest con person ever to come along since Hitler. And look at all the people he's conned. That just means they're huge cons. If you hear people say, oh, he incited that, he didn't incite that insurrection, that riot where those people are killed, you know that person is almost as big a con, or cons people, the same as the conner-in-chief, or used to be conner-in-chief. Now he's the ex-conner. It's something for you to keep in mind. When a person falls for a con, it says more about them, actually, than the con man. The con man just doing what he, or con woman, either one. They're just doing what they do, and then they laugh at you. If you want to see somebody laugh, Trump has to laugh at his cult member. How stupid can, all I got to do is say attack, and they go kill 5 or 6 people at the federal building, and then I say, oh, I didn't do it. Anyway, I'm getting off on a whole. I apologize for getting off on that tantrum about where we are in the United States of America today. A perfect experience if you care to accept this invitation. I'm sending you an invitation right now to live your life in such a way that you only tell the truth to yourself. I add the to yourself part because that's the most important person for you to tell the truth to. And then where you can, you speak it to other people. But I must tell you, truth is the enemy of this planet. And for sure in America, the truth is the enemy of people who live in knowledge and thought and belief, because truth ends the lie. Truth ends the belief. Truth makes thought be original, or at least recognize that it is bringing forth from its history. All right, 19 minutes and 58 seconds is too long. Edward, shut up. Good night.